Live.
Love you.
Love you too. Are you guys dancing? So hi everyone, I'm Carolina Romaniuk, your child and family sleep specialist. Happy Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day.
This is my hubby, Andre. So this is my special guest. We're actually staying home tonight. We're having a night in. This is Bruno Mars that we're listening to. So if you have your hubby next to you and you guys are watching, take each other in your arms and just dance for a little while. So we're just gonna kind of hang out here and wait until more people tune in. So if you want, you can watch us dance. Okay, I love you. So my hubby is gonna go to bed and we're gonna start our chat right away. So let's take a seat. Aw, hey Jane, happy V-Day. You got your doggy and your baby monitor, so then that's good. And I wish everyone a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope you had an awesome day. It was pretty nice outside today. And I was running around like a chicken without a head. I have an awesome event that's happening tomorrow, and I have been prepping for it vigorously all day today, running around and making sure that all of the little pieces are set for tomorrow. So I'm gonna give you guys a recap on the event. If you can show up, it would be awesome. It's gonna be in the morning from 9:30 to 11 at Classic Kids Photography on Lexington. The address is 1182 Lexington Avenue and 81st, I believe. So I'm so excited. There's going to be light breakfast, you know, some drinks, and we're going to be talking about Sleep 101 from moi, and we'll be doing like Q&A and stuff, so it's going to be cool. What's going on with my hair? It's like having like this like frizzball effect going on. So anyway, oh, my hubby joined. I thought he was going to sleep. Anyway, so let's get on with today's video. I'm seeing that we're getting a lot more viewers on. Hi Megan, thanks for joining. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. Kind of miss you, girl. So let's see, you know, if you guys have any questions regarding early rising, let me know. Fill in the comments. If you just tuned in just now. Hi Angelica, I am Carolina Romaniuk, your child and family sleep specialist, and my goal is to help parents to get a good night's sleep and to understand their children's sleep needs better. So if you want to find out a little more information on that and my program, the Sleep Trifecta, you can look into my website, achievewithcarolina.com. But today I wanted to talk to you about early rising, and if you have one, and how to actually try and figure out on how to solve that. So it's something quite common. It goes also in the same context with you know, like the regression periods. Hi Victoria. So it's a tricky situation. So if you, happy V-Day, happy Valentine's Day, Angelica. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. So if you're just tuning in right now, you kind of missed a little dance show that me and my hubby did. That was my special guest. We are spending the night in. You know, it's really hard to get a babysitter, especially on Valentine's Day. So our little ones are sleeping, and we decided to help me prepare for my event tomorrow. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be stuffing bags later after this video, and we were just dancing and, you know, enjoying each other's company. So if you have a loved one that is next to you or that will be coming home later, make sure that, you know, you give them big hugs and kisses and you tell them how you truly feel about them. So hopefully it's a good thing. So let's get on with today's video. We're going to be talking about, do you have an early riser? And if you do, ask yourself 5 questions to see if you can get to the bottom of this. So if you do have any questions for me, make sure to jot them down, type them into the comments below. Also, I don't know like if we're gonna have a huge turnout tonight because you know it is Valentine's Day. So I am very thankful for everyone that is showing up tonight. So thank you. Love, hugs, and kisses to you guys. And if you can do me a huge honor right now, if you can just share right below, just click on that little button, share. It'll take you 2 seconds, and we can see if we can get more people on, see if we can kind of expand our Valentine's night Sleep Peep, Sleep 101 video. It's a lot to say. And if you can like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. So those are my 2 things that I just wanted to kind of ask before we started getting into the video tonight. So, you know, a general wake up time, what I wanted to kind of start this off with, so you know, if you are having an early riser, because, you know, some parents might think 4 or 5 or 5:30 is an early riser. So anything between 5:30 and 7 is actually a pretty good time for a wake up. And hi Liana, oh, I got my family on tonight. So having an early riser, for an example, anything between 5 and 5:30, maybe in between 5 and 6, it kind of depends. That's considered an early riser. So having a pretty standard bedtime, wake up time is anywhere between 6 and 7. Some people might say 8, but usually if you go past 7 o'clock in the morning, then everything else starts to kind of go lower, which the naps and then bedtime, and then you're kind of hitting off of your biological peak times. So you really don't want to do that. You want to kind of have a set tone in when your little one is waking up, and then having your sleep diary, which incorporates the nap times and then the bedtime. So you would have everything set into place for that, so then at least you'll know from that part on how your little one, if your little one is getting sufficient amount of sleep, the quantity. Now remember, I always say this to you guys, know how much sleep your little one needs. The quantity and the quality is also very important, because that will help you kind of create more of an understanding on why your child might be having night waking. So that's one piece that you would want to look into. So the 5 questions to ask you, the first one is bedtime too late for you? So, you know, of course it depends according to age, but bedtime can be perfect anywhere between 6 and 8 p.m. at night. So I know that that's a huge difference between 6 to 7, 7 to 8. Now you're going to be asking me, Carolina, well, how do I know when to put them down? Because that's a huge gap. And how I usually mention to you guys is that if you put them down too late, then they are overly exhausted, and then you're having to deal with tantrums, and then it's just a no-go. So you don't want that to happen. So anywhere between 6 and 8 is a good time. Now, how will you know is depending on their age. So usually the younger that they are, the earlier that they need to go to bed. The older that they are, the later that they go to bed. So sometimes what I do is, hey Patricia, thanks for joining. So what I usually do is, if we have an early bedtime, because you probably hear me say that often, is thanks guys for liking the video and thanks for sharing. It really means a lot to me. So just to kind of give you a recap on the first question that we're talking about is bedtime too late? So if it's later than 8 p.m. on an average for a toddler, then what's happening is you're most likely going to have night wakings, and if you do have night wakings, you will have an early riser. Anywhere between 4-ish and 5 in the morning is a very light stage of sleep. So everyone will be waking up at that point. Now the difference between a child that has the formulation that they can actually sleep independently and one that doesn't is when they go through these light stages of sleep, a child that cannot put themselves back to sleep independently will wake up, they will cry, they will look for their association, they will look for their need, their that click that they need in order to fall asleep. So in most cases it's the parent. And then what happens is at 5 in the morning you would come in, maybe you would start trying lots of things, and then that would just really reawaken your child, because they're already at this light stage of sleep. And anywhere between 5 and 6, it's not much of a big difference between the time frame. So then you might give up and think, oh, it's 5:30, you know, it's close to 6, whatever, I'll take them out because they look like they're not sleeping. So if that happens, then you're not keeping them in their crib until 6 a.m., what is happening is that you're kind of enforcing that habit to synchronize at that time, to constantly wake up. So it's kind of like, you know, yourself at a certain point, instead of putting the alarm clock on, you wake up every day at the same time because your body just naturally synchronizes at that time. So that's kind of what happens in that case as well. So knowing if bedtime is too late, and knowing what time your child should be falling asleep is your first question that you should be asking yourself. Second one, is your baby hungry? Now, a child under 9 months of age should not be feeding at night unless there's a medical condition for it. The reason for that is because a child past the age of 9 months, it starts to interrupt with sleep at night, for consolidated sleep at night. So your goal is for them to be sleeping, 11 to 12 hours. Of course, it depends on the age, but on average, it's around that. And you want it to be consolidated. You want it to be without any waking. So if they are over the age of 9 months and they are still being fed to sleep, in most cases, if it's not a medical condition, that's a habit. That's more of a want. It's not a need. It became I want this in order to fall asleep. They don't need it in order to fall asleep. It's just meaning for nutritional purposes. So some pediatricians, they do give the green light. I've had that happen at 4 months. So it just really depends on what your pediatrician says, how your little one is growing, if you should start weaning them off. But keep that in mind, because a child under 9 months, it's still good and it's still normal for them to be hungry at certain points, especially when they're hitting that milestone like at 8 months. So it's 4 months and then 6 months. Those are your also sleep regressions. So that's kind of what happens, and they might just generally be hungry, genuinely be hungry. So it's okay to give them, it's okay to feed them, to see if that is the culprit of it when they wake up at 5. So also knowing how many hours that the last feeding that they had. Most kids, you shouldn't go past 12 hours of them feeding at night. So you would kind of just focus on your diary of when their feeding was, and then calculate how many hours have they been sleeping, and go to there and then see, okay, almost it's like 11 hours. So they wake up at 5 and then they had their last feeding, and then it's like, they're just kind of really hungry at that point, which that could be a reason for that if they are 9 months and younger. Hi, Mila. So let's see. Next, okay, we have the third question is, are you keeping your child awake too long between nap and bedtime? So you want to have a nice balance between naps and bedtime. If there's too long of a wake gap in between there, what happens is your little one starts to go into overdrive. Their cortisol starts to increase significantly. And then what happens with that is it's very hard to put them to sleep. They might start having tantrums. You are pretty much guaranteed night wakings and an early rising. So night wakings usually go hand in hand with early rising, because again, like I was mentioning to you, it's the light stage of sleep at that point at 5 in the morning. So when your little one does wake up in the middle of the night, it's also between sleep cycles. So what you would want to focus on is to see the first 3 that I was just mentioning to you. Is bedtime too late? Is your little one hungry? And are you keeping your child awake too long between naps and bedtime? Fourth one is, are you always leaving your baby up until, well, not up, are you always leaving your baby in the crib until 6 a.m.? So it kind of goes back to what I was talking about, and knowing if when they do wake up, do you take them out right away out of the crib, or do you give them time to fall back asleep? Some kids, what happens is, if they're in the sleep training process, what can happen is that when they go into that light stage of sleep, it can take anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes for them to put themselves back to sleep without an interruption. So what you would want to do is ideally not enter the room and wait for that time frame. Now, if your child has an association, a very heavy one, for an example, let's say they're sleeping with you, they're bed sharing, or they need to be rocked in order to be put to sleep, then that's not going to happen because they need that association, and then they'll fully wake up themselves because they're not getting their sleep fix. So that's one of the things that I would want you to look into, is making sure that your child, that you're keeping them in the crib up until 6 a.m. Now, I know most parents, what they tell me is, Carolina, you know how hard it is to keep a child in their crib crying and upset and wanting to come out until, up until 6 a.m. And I tell them, yes, I do, but it doesn't mean that you have to leave them there. Again, like I was saying, it depends on if your child has an association, and if they do, most cases you need to be part of that process and you need to help them to calm back down. And I want you to understand that sleep training, it's a process to be patient. You can't jump the gun. You can't start saying, oh my God, I try this and it's not working. That's complete bonkers. It's BS, because you need to stay consistent. Children thrive off consistency. If you start moving gears too quickly, nothing is going to click for them. They're going to be confused. They'll have more tantrums. You'll get more frustrated. Then everybody's going to be pissed off. And it's not going to help anybody in the long run, especially regarding sleep. So if you are going to be sleep training, you need to come up with a plan and you need to stay consistent with it for at least 5 days. I'm very serious about this because I get it heard all the time that I tried this, it didn't work, or I did that and it didn't work. You need to make sure that whatever plan you're putting together is complementing your child's behavior. So don't choose something that your friend told you, swore helped them, because it might not be part of your parental philosophy. It might not be complementing your child's behavior. Their child might have been put to sleep in one specific way. Your child might need to be fed, held, rocked, put in a stroller, and whatever approach that your friend did is not going to work for you. So I don't want you beating your head up against the wall saying, well, I tried this and it didn't work. My best friend tried it and it helped her. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because then at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to feel like a lousy parent, and that is no way that you should feel with regards to sleep training your little one. You need to feel empowered. You need to feel confident. You need to feel, yes, we're going to get sleep at the end of the day. That is the whole purpose of this. It should not be agony. It should not be something strenuous. It should not be, something that you're dreading to do. It should be a process that is complementing everything that's going on in your entire household. And I'm here to help you with that if you do have any questions. So let's go on to the fifth question. Thanks for the likes, guys. So the fifth one is your baby's room dark enough? So by now, and with lots of your readings that you guys have been doing with your homeworks, that having a dark room, that light is your enemy when you're trying to sleep, right? So if you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. Say yes in the comments below. Come on, let's talk. So having a dark room is very crucial, especially when springtime hits and when it's summer and it's like 7 o'clock at night and your little one should be sleeping and it is so bright in the room that you don't know what to do. So yes, blackout curtains help. Having small pieces such as the environment. Thanks for Victoria. Thanks, Ella. Hi. So having a dark room, having white noise, having a perfect temperature in the room, 68 to 72 degrees. These little things, yeah, they're repetitive. It's kind of like, when you go to the doctor, they have vitals that they always look at before they even diagnose you, and then they tell you what is going on, because they need to know that they have those factors, the main components in place. So they check your throat, they check your ears, they check your nose, they check your eyes, they check your belly, depending, like if you're a child. So they need to know that all of those areas are good and clear. Same thing goes for sleep training. So you need to make sure that the environmental aspects, the easiest thing that you can do to help your little one sleep, is in place. If you tell me that your child's room from light to dark, 10 being the darkest, is a 5, I'm going to tell you you're nuts, because then your child is not sleeping, and it's because of the light. Now, also I get asked, well, I want my child sleeping when it's light outside, so I don't have to get kind of run home and make sure that it's pitch black. Yes, some children can fall asleep when it's light outside, but it's very difficult for them. Our body is naturally created to fall asleep when it's dark. That's just how our circadian rhythm is built. Darkness increases our sleep hormone, light decreases it. That's Mother Nature. That's how we're built. You can't change that. So it's not creating an association, it's not creating a habit, it's not creating a need that you have to be walking around with blackout curtains everywhere and they can't fall asleep. No, if your little one has proper sleep hygiene in place, that they have good timing, that they have a great schedule that's based off of their internal sleepy clock, meaning that the times that they naturally should be falling asleep, then you should be relatively okay, 20% of the time. But most of the time, you should have the proper sleep environment in place. And that's what most of us lack, because we don't think of those pieces as something important. We kind of think of them as, oh, no worries, it's no big deal, I'll just get these really pretty shades. Your baby doesn't care about shades. They don't care if you got elephants on or butterflies and like this beautiful lace going on, or if you have this frilly, gorgeous, antique looking crib with bedding. Your baby doesn't care about that, I can promise you. They just want to go to sleep. So adding all of these pieces and not having the essentials is important. I don't want you wasting money on products that promise you that are going to help your little one to sleep, like all these silly toys that they have. This market, the sleep market, is a multi-billion-dollar market, and there's so many toys and props and medication that's promised and marketed to parents to tell them that you do this and your little one, I promise you, is going to sleep. That's complete BS. If you use the essentials, such as blackout curtains, such as white noise machine, and get those pieces intact, putting socks on your little one, creating a routine for your little one, that's important. And that is what will help you start to create that foundation for sleep. So let me do a recap, and then I'm going to start answering questions, because I'm seeing that I'm getting a couple of cool questions on right now. So the 5 questions that you should be asking for yourself if you have an early riser is: 1, is bedtime too late? 2, is your baby hungry? 3, are you keeping your child awake too long between naps and bedtime? 4 is, are you leaving your baby until 6 a.m. in the morning? And then 5, is your room dark enough? Is your baby's room dark enough? So those are your 5 questions that I want you to ask yourself if your little one is waking up at 5 a.m. and ready to party. Okay, so let me go, and I'm going to start scrolling to start answering the lovely questions. And if you are watching the replay, thank you so much. It's more fun if you can catch me live. So every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I do live Facebook feeds at 10 p.m. on this page. So I would love it if you could join me live. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for being another sleep peep of mine, and I would love it if you could share this video and if you could like it. And if you have a question, feel free to comment or just private message me, and I will be able to answer your question. So let's see what are the awesome questions that I get. Okay, so Victoria says, doesn't it mean they go to sleep late and overtired if they wake up too early? I'm not quite understanding what you're trying to say, Victoria. So doesn't it mean they go to sleep late and overtired if they wake up too early? So if a child wakes up too early, yes, it does mean that they are going to bed late and that they are tired. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I was saying, that the question that you would ask yourself, is your bedtime too late? And that is one of the reasons that they would be waking up too early. So let's see what else. Angelica says, what's the standard times in relation to the age? So it really depends. You want to work off of, well, I work off of biological aspects. So there's like, a certain kind of duration that you would begin, but it all depends on what times your little one goes to sleep right now, and then we will kind of work from there. So I would need more details if you're asking a question specifically regarding to you or just in general. So let me know on that. If it's if it's more towards yourself, just private message me, so then I can kind of ask you a couple more detailed questions, so then I could give you a proper response to that. So I hope that answers your question, Angelica. Mila, what does that mean? Holy Cooper Schmidt? That's funny. Angelica says, what is too long between nap and bedtime for a 2-year-old? So your nap can be anywhere between 1 and 2, and bedtime should be not later than 8. So usually if it's 8:30 or 9, then you'll most likely be receiving night wakings and an early waking. So if you're noticing that, it's most likely your case on that part. So having an early bedtime is very, very important. Wow, Angelica, you're on a roll. So your next question, if a child does sleep in the daylight, is that okay for them? I wouldn't agree with that, specifically because light, it doesn't give you the best quality of sleep as darkness does. So I would at least transition that into having it, a darker room. So if your little one is sleeping during the day and it's light in the room, it just means that you place them at a good time and that they're zonked out. So they are just so beyond exhausted that they just fall asleep with the lights on. Kind of like yourself. If you fell asleep on the couch in the living room and you have the lights on, you don't care what's going on around you. You just care that you want to go to sleep. So ideally, you would want to have a dark room. So let's see. What else? Ella says, is one nap okay for a 14-month-old from 12 to 3 in bedtime? Yeah, that's not bad, Ella. 14 months, I find that anywhere between 14 and 16 months, kids usually start to transition. But if you're seeing early wakings and you're seeing or you're seeing night wakings also, you might need to go back to 2 naps. So usually by 18 months, you would want to have 1 nap. But some children, and I've had success cases on this, that they do transition at 14 months pretty well. So if you do notice that there is a difference, that they're having early wakings or they're having night wakings, that might be a reason that you might need to go back to a 2-nap schedule temporarily. But it seems as though if your little one is going from 12 to 3 and then bedtime at 7:30, that's pretty good. So let me kind of let you guys know that how would you know if you're having how late bedtime is if you're having night wakings, right? So if you're having night wakings, that means pretty much that your bedtime is way too late and that your child's body is just going into overdrive. So you would just want to start implementing an early bedtime on that. So if you are having a set bedtime and you're still having night wakings, or your child is having tantrums, falling asleep, the timing does play a huge role in it. So my pleasure, Ella. Let's see. Victoria asks, I put my kids to sleep at 7:30. People tell me it's too early, but they sleep 7:30. You tell those people, kiss my tuchas. So I don't care what other people say. I put my kids to sleep. My son, my oldest son is 6. He goes to sleep between 7 and 7:30. So I you know, you do what you have to do, and you know when your little one needs to go to sleep. Who cares what other people say? Because you're the one that has to be waking up in the middle of the night, and you're the one that has to be putting them back to sleep. So that's all I got for you folks. Okay, let's see. Angelica says 2-year-old, 1 nap, 12:30. Oh yeah. Bedtime at 9. Man, you gotta raise that girl. So unless you're not having night wakings and not an early waking, then I guess you're kind of okay. So but usually bedtime at 9 for a 2-year-old, after a certain point, kind of catches up with them, and they do start having night wakings. So I would start shifting that a little bit earlier. Okay, so that's all. I'm not seeing any more questions. So did you guys like this video? I hope you did. So we have tomorrow also, and I'm going to be talking tomorrow. I have a couple of topics, so I might surprise you on that. But I wanted to do a reminder that tomorrow I'm having an event at 9:30 till 11 at Classic Kids Photography. And the address is 1182 Lexington. I have on my Facebook page the RSVP and the Evite to sign up if you are in the area or if you would love to show up. And I will be talking about Sleep 101 on how to get your little one sleeping happy and healthy. And so if you would love to join it, make sure that you RSVP and you give them a call, or you email them, or you could just show up since it's tomorrow and we're having a late night video tonight. So we're going to be giving away goodie bags. There's going to be breakfast, you know, drinks, some yummy food. And Lindsay May, who is the photographer, she's going to be giving away a gift, I think it's a gift certificate to Classic Kids Photography. Her pictures for family portraits are unbelievable. She has unbelievable newborn photography as well, and she's just great. So she's located on the Upper East Side, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact her. So we're going to kind of do like a duo kind of a thing. We're planning on most likely doing a couple more of these events, but for now this is the first one for them and with me at Classic Kids Photography, so I'm very excited about that. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is, because it's a Valentine's Day, I am going to be giving 10% off of my monthly package for you lovely mommies that are on this thread. Hi Anna, thanks for joining. So if you are in need of sleep desperately, make sure that you can send this video to your hubby, share it, highlight his name, have him sit with you tomorrow night, watch a video, and, you know, kind of make like a date night with it. Kind of interesting. I'm going to be the third wheel. So for that, I'm giving away, like I mentioned, tomorrow is the last day, 10% off of my monthly package to help you finally get sleep. And what better present to give to you, even though today's kind of, you know, it's a one day kind of a thing for Valentine's Day, but it should be every day. So let me know on that if you would like to take advantage of the 10% off discount on that. And the last part for our video is, I couldn't believe I forgot yesterday. So we're still doing the tasks, your homeworks for February, and we already did 2. So the first one that we did when February started was self-love. So showing me how you love yourself. What do you do for yourself to kind of, you know, thank you for being the awesomeness person that you are. So for me, I did a manicure, and I bought myself a really cute hat because I love hats. So, and then the second task was asking your significant other on a date. Because, you know, once you're married, or if you're dating for a long period of time, you kind of start to feel a little sluggish, or more like in a routine. So what you want to do is you want to spice things up. So literally asking your significant other on a date helps you a lot, and it's, you know, it just spruces things up. So that was our second task, and I did both tasks and it was just great. So then the third one, today your task is going to be to have a present be the present for your children. So what that means is that you want to be present in the moment for your little one. You want to, when you're with them, to take your phone and put it away, work on being present when you're there with them the entire time, and building memories. That's really what you want to focus on. Okay, so that is what we are talking about today. I'm done with the homeworks, and I want you to tag me. I want you to show me when you're going to be with your little one, when you're going to be present in the moment. It doesn't mean, taking videos and doing like all this other stuff. It just means that you can take a little snapshot so I can see what's going on. But ideally what you want to do is you want to be in the moment with them. You want to maybe do arts and crafts with them, color, read, do something interactive with them, but be in the moment. Don't be on your phone and hugging everything and just telling them, oh, I have like 5 more minutes left of work, and doing anything else that's not related to creating memories with your little one. So your task for this week is to be present when you are with your children, to be fully present in the moment, not to be distracted by doing something else. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I think I have like 2 more questions. Okay, no, I don't. So we're good to go. Sweet dreams, everyone, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.